The things you're saying about Christendom are the things that students who come to Christendom say is what they like about Christendom. And that concept of being around, like, a lot of people grow up saying, I'm the craziest Catholic I know from back home, and people think I'm kind of weird, my parents are kind of crazy, and we're the only people that do what we do. And then they come to Christendom and they're like, wow, 400 crazy people just like me all on the same campus. Really, I mean, that is an attraction for it, and it's nice to know that there is a battle going on out there. I mean, there's a crazy world, and we're going to win someday. I don't know when, but we're going to win. And this is a place where people are coming and they're saying, at least I know there's this group of people that are trying to do the same things, and when I go there and I graduate and I leave, I always know there's this place called Christendom that's trying to keep doing try to remain Catholic, and the place that's putting out good Catholics to help change the culture. Right?
My biggest surprise was the large number of talent that was here this week with the students. The St. Lawrence Commons area has 2 grand pianos that are very nice, and I got the opportunity to play them, and there were other people here that brought their violins and guitars, and we had quite a fun time. And in the student body here at the summer program, there's a lot of high achievers too. Half the guys here are Eagle Scouts, are working on that, highest rank in Boy Scouting, and a lot of high achievements and high talents.
And just while we're on you, how was the food for you?
It was quite good.
All right, good. You got your fill. Chris?
I wanted to comment on how the teachers teach here. They don't tell you the answers, they question you so that you find the answers yourself. Even in history, he will ask you questions, and if you really don't get it all, he'll tell you half of it, so you have to reason by yourself. And if you think in your mind, if I can find this through my own reason, then it must be true. They don't just say, here it is in the book, it's true. They explain it to you fully, and they go through it in all detail.
Sean?
I really didn't want to come here at first, because my mom was like, oh, do you want to go to the camp? And I was like, no, not really. She was like, okay, you're going to the camp. Okay, so for peace in the home, I was like, okay, let's go along with it. And so I got here, and I was like, oh, I can go to church, and then adoration, and go to classes. Why am I going to classes in the middle of summer? But like, I think I enjoyed that probably the most out of any part here was the classes. Because like, the teachers, like Chris was saying, is that the teachers, they try to get you to figure it out for yourself. They don't just give you the answers. Say, here's the textbook, here's the answers. They try to, especially in philosophy, he tries to get us to question our own answers to find out if it really is true or not.
Right.
So, like, I don't know, this whole program has been really awesome.
It's changed you a little bit. Who else?
Alright, I want to say something else. What also surprised me was the dress code. Because I thought dressing up every day, I'm used to just wearing jeans and a t-shirt, and to actually have to dress up every day for school was really weird for me. But then you see everyone here, and they say that dressing up, makes it seem more professional, and I thought they were just kidding, but it actually does. Because, you're wearing your dress and your heels, and the guys are wearing ties, and you actually feel like you are doing something special because you're not just wearing your jeans and a t-shirt. And it's really nice to see other people dressed up too, because we follow the modesty guidelines, skirts to the knee and stuff, and so everyone at school's like, oh my gosh, your skirts are too long, I'm like, there's the knee, and I don't know, it's to actually see other people dressing like I do and still looking cute while doing it, and to see guys wearing like button-up shirts and a tie. I rarely see that except at my Sunday church, All right, so I really enjoyed the dress code actually, which I thought I wouldn't.
Okay.
So that surprised me too.
That's good to hear. What else?
One of the things that I appreciated the most was, I know it's Breathe Catholic and I knew about the Mass and adoration, but what really impressed me the most was the prayers that all the professors say no matter what class you go to. They start the class with a prayer, they end the class with a prayer. When we went to our extracurricular activities, we went to Skyline Drive. We said the travel prayers on the way there.
We needed them.
Yeah.
They weren't that bad.
Depending on which one.
Don't name any names.
And then the little details in what makes Christendom different, the religious artwork on the walls, crucifixes, little things that add up to make a really big difference here.
That's neat. That's good.
Yeah. I've been in love with Christendom ever since I found out about it when I was 12.
Okay.
And I've been looking forward to the summer program for years. And then just this summer, I started hesitating and I didn't want to really come because I didn't want to be away from my family for that long.
Okay.
And especially like all by myself, flying by myself and getting here and not knowing anybody, and I was so scared, you know. And like some of the other kids said, you get here and you just immediately connect with people. Like the counselors were saying, you know, by Tuesday it'll feel like you've known everybody your whole lives and you'll all be so close. It was like Sunday night, and I was like, what are you talking about? I already feel that way. So I really like it.
Hal?
I really don't like summer, and I don't like talking to anybody. So, so I came here and I was like, oh man, I'm not gonna like this. But then everybody's nice, and so they talk to you whether you want them to or not. And then you wind up like talking to them, and it was great in spite of the heat in the summer.
All right. All right. Well, let me move on to the next question, which is kind of, some of you have mentioned it, but we'll see if anyone has anything else to say about it. Which was your favorite class and why?
History, because one, they all really care about their subjects, but I think that Mr. O'Brien particularly has a very fiery disposition towards history and really wants to get to the heart of the matter and make sure that we never forget it, but speaking very softly and then exploding on every other word and kind of hammering it home to help us with not only to learn about, but also to retain our Catholic identity through the ages, and why we're here. Because not knowing how we got here, which means you won't know where you're going.
Right.
So, and he's really good at just bringing it all together and making it make sense, and to pull it even farther and say, and show us even where we're going from here.
You should see him when he talks about something he actually cares about, like rugby. You can't get him to shut up. Anyway.
I'd have to say I think theology was my favorite, especially since Dr. O'Donnell is the president of Christendom, and most colleges presidents don't teach any of the classes. And he had us read 21 chapters. He had us read the entire Gospel of John. We got through 4 chapters because he went so in depth to each of them, and there's so much to all the Gospels. We didn't even get to pretty much half of what was in even just those 4 chapters that we went over. And I think that was the biggest thing for me, because usually how I felt before was the Bible was just, something that I read and I listened to it on Sunday. But there's actually so much more. And his way of teaching it, he just brings everything to life and explains everything in such a clear light. And I especially appreciated that he was the president and he still took the time to teach a class.
Yeah, he's very accessible. I told you this from the day one, that you're going to have him every day, go to his house for a barn dance. He's very accessible. Even not just you guys, to the students when they're here too. So it's very good to have that.
Well, I have to say my favorite class, because it was such a surprise, was literature. I love math, science, and if you ask my mom, who's been homeschooling me, I hate literature. It's always the last thing I do in the day, and I'm usually up late doing it. So when I got the readings, I read it, and I thought all of them were okay, but a little boring. Then Mr. Keats takes it apart, and he shows us how to read it so they're actually interesting. Shows us the structure of the sentences and paragraphs, so you can find the hidden meanings in them. And I read this one story, I thought it was the dullest thing in the world. And then I found out it was loaded with all this humor in it if you just knew how to look for it.
Okay.
So that's why literature was my favorite class here, because it was such a great surprise on how all the stuff is in the writing if you just know how to find it.
Well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear.